Hey there, Veteran Nation fans. I'm the Skipper, and I'm not going to really enjoy doing this video because it's something I don't like uh, doing, and it's veteran attacking veteran, and I don't like that. Uh, I think that.
because
Oh, hold on here. Let me do this. Um, and this is exactly why, like the show I'm going to show you is from a podcast called Tier One, and it's led by Brent Tucker, who is Delta Force, retired Army, 20 years, and he is saying a lot of choice things here about Robert Oneill. Robert Oneill has gone um, out there and said, "Hey, I'm the guy that shot Bin Laden." One of the first guys from SEAL Team 6 who got out and then spoke publicly, and has kind of built a brand off that. Well, now there's also Matt Bissonette, who is also a part of the team, who has put out a book, and his book disputes some things of what Robert Oneill has said. I don't think the things that they dispute over, I don't really think they're a big deal. I'll just be honest about that. I don't think this is a big deal, but to a guy like Brent, uh, it's a very big deal. So much so you'll see he's now he's now in a lawsuit.
he was selfish enough to make essentially Veterans Day about him, as he makes everything about him.
So he's talking about Robert O'Neill, and I'll just tell you, dude, you need to shut the hell up. Right there, you are right off the get go. You are proving malicious intent. You are.
Rob Oneill hit me with a $25 million defamation lawsuit, essentially using my own words against me, because I did say on my first live, I was like, you know what? We've been right. We've always been right. How do you know we've been right? Because no one's ever sued me for defamation.
First off, yeah, he's going to use your words against you. It's a defamation lawsuit. That's what they are, and that is the worst uh, truth claim I have ever heard.
And the reason I said that, and still believe that, I'll just change the way I say it now, because I'll just have to say no one's ever sued me for defamation and won.
The second dumbest truth claim I think I've ever heard someone claim. Like, pretty much what you're saying is no one has cared enough to sue me. I've been defamed. I've been defamed by people. They've printed stuff about me that was blatantly not true. However, the juice is not worth the squeeze. Like, I could go sue someone for defamation, but they don't have enough. Like, it'll cost me more time and money to sue them than I would ever win. So why would I waste the time and effort? But with Robert, oh, we're going to get into the money.
Because that's how this ends. But he took that as a challenge, and he got a lawyer and pulled $25 million. $25 million. He sounds like he doesn't just look like it to some degree, but he looks like a Temu Dr. Evil, where he's just like pulling random numbers out of the air, you know, like on Austin Powers.
More malicious intent right there.
Like, what does he say on Austin Powers? $1 million. Yeah. So he just pulls 25 million out of his back pocket. Is like, yeah, that sounds good. And in his lawsuit, he says that we basically don't leave him alone, which is really funny, because the only time the Tier 1 podcast before this, Rob, ever mentioned your name is because when I left the Anti-Hero podcast, you brought us up.
Yep.
So it was a rebuttal to you calling us.
I'll tell you this: you did do a rebuttal podcast, and you've also done clips. So he kind of does have a good point that you have multiple things out there. They might have all come from the same base document, but it's out there, and you guys are going to see he doesn't stop with his accusations.
Asshats.
Never crossed our mind.
Yeah, you never crossed my mind, Rob, until you started poking the bear. And so instead of taking it like a man,
I just want to point out, okay, first off, I never wanted to do this type of podcast. Like, I didn't want guns behind me, I didn't want the Spartan helmet on the side. Like, I was encouraged to do that type of stuff. Like, it leads to a bad place. This alpha male, like, bloviating stuff, it leads to a bad place, an unhealthy headspace. And it'll get you into trouble, things like getting sued for defamation. But I want you guys to pay attention to the words that he uses. So he's using some alpha male language, like "you're not man enough," um, just listen.
What does he do? He sues. Real.
Right.
That's what happens.
Right.
Okay. I didn't have that in my bingo card of
You probably should have. You probably should have. You were in the military. Didn't they tell you to expect the unexpected? You probably should have. You're talking about someone publicly.
of 2025 that he's that soft.
Oh, so he's soft. Okay. Not a man. He's soft.
I always thought someone else would sue us if it was someone else. But if it wasn't for that, we had if it wasn't that we had the truth on our side, it would be silly for you to sue us, because I guess he hasn't thought this out. But what's going to happen?
Oh, so he also doesn't think things out.
Is we're going to go to court, and all the people who like to make phone calls to me and like to tell me thank you for I was there.
I'm going to stop you right here. Okay. I get people who approach me all the time, and they tell me things and their sources on things, but they're not willing to go on the record, meaning they're not willing to stick their neck out. They want you, Brent, to stick your neck out, and you are sticking your neck out. Dude, shut the hell up. Listen to your attorney, who's probably told you to shut the hell up.
There, and thank you for telling the truth. Rather,
so he's the arbiter of what the truth is. Two people, like, he's heard one guy's story and someone emailed him, so that's what the truth is. Ooh.
They're going to get subpoenaed.
Okay.
And they didn't want to come out and make this thing other than a private phone call. And now legally they're going to have to come in and tell you to your face what they've been telling me.
They might.
And
maybe.
Tell
maybe.
You already know. So I'm sure my lawyer would probably tell me not to speak on it. But it doesn't matter to me. Like, it's so.
This is the problem. These alpha male, like, I know better than these stupid attorneys. I sit and talk to every attorney because when it comes to the law, they know more than me. I will take good legal advice all day long.
I'm sure my lawyer would probably tell me not to speak on it, but it doesn't matter to me. Like, it's the truth, and I'll.
So his defense is the truth, which is saying what I said was the truth is an absolute defense against defamation. But he's saying that all these people, they said they're going to testify. Will they be allowed to testify? We'll get into that.
I have no problem speaking about the truth. So not only does Rob make Veterans Day about him
more malicious,
it was no real coincidence. He essentially does he does it during the same time period that Matt Bissonnette, who was also on the raid, goes on the Sean Ryan show and tells a story.
Okay.
That's not your story, Rob. So him trying to do this, hey, look over here, look at me, and don't listen to another guy that was on the raid. That's going to blow up my story. You think that's a coincidence?
More malicious intent. Dude, shut the hell up. You are giving Robert Oneill every single thing he needs for his lawsuit right now.
No. That's
the other thing. Brent has this little entourage of people, and they're all, they all got beards and they've got their grunt style shirts and stuff on. It's like, dude, you're surrounded by yes men.
It's a desperate move by a desperate man.
More malicious intent right there.
I was I was told one of my options is, hey, we can probably get this dismissed real easy.
You should absolutely do that. 100%.
So if you want to move to dismiss it, I'm just going to put my cards on the table and tell you what I'm doing. And I said, no, we're not going to. I'm absolutely not going to move to dismiss this, because to move to dismiss this,
he's going to regret that.
Would be like, I don't want to go to court. I'm scared of court. I don't have the truth on my side.
That is not what that says. This is like those people who say, "Oh, well, he didn't take the stand in his defense, so that means he's guilty," or he took a pardon, that means he's admitting guilt. No, that's that's he didn't deny it, so that means he's guilty. No, that is not what that means. Getting it dismissed just means you didn't want to spend a ton of money on a legal battle, and it's an incredibly smart thing to do.
So that got squashed real quick. We're not going to dismiss this. And if you asked me,
do you know why your lawyer went along with that? Because he's the one that's going to get the money in the end. He's the one who's going to make money. You're not talking about a countersuit, so you can only lose. Like if you win, you get nothing. I hope you realize that.
how this is going to play out, this is a publicity stunt, and Rob is not going to take this to court. And mark my words, only two things can happen. Rob will either
Okay, so that previous thing that he said can be used against him in court. Now, let's listen to these two options.
find out he's made a huge mistake and not let this go to court, and this little publicity stunt to make sure Matt Bissonnette is not heard is over for him, and he will not take this. He will not take it to court, or it's going to go to court and you're going to lose. So either way, it's fine by me. Got a lot of people
Ooh, dude, you are digging yourself a hole.
calling me like, "Hey, are you okay? Hey, are you okay?" I'm fine by this. This is in a weird way, it's one of the best things that could have happened, because I always wanted people to have to come forward, not have to come forward, but wanted them to come forward and back me up. But we're dealing with a group of men who don't normally want to do this, but because they also care about what's right, they will.
You're saying you wanted this, and then you didn't want this. I'll just tell you, I'll be honest. I think Brent here needs a therapist. I think he's being very inconsistent with what he's saying he wants. And on one side he wants the truth, but then he never wanted any of this to happen. Yeah, I think your thoughts are kind of all over the place, dude.
Will answer questions and allow me to carry the story for them. And of course, that's already
Stick your neck out where they won't.
happening. As soon as this lawsuit was told, I was immediately started receiving phone calls like, "Hey, we'll back you up. We'll go to court. We'll see him there. This is crazy." So to catch people up,
You're the one taking.
if you
the
don't
risk.
know, here's the other problem. A lot of people don't know what, and because of Rob, we have to dig all this up and catch.
Because of Rob, all you had to do was just not talk about him, or at least not defame him. Like if you showed Rob's story and then Matt's story and said, "Okay, let's talk about the differences," and then said, "My opinion is this," you would not be in this situation. But you're making a truth claim. You're choosing one over the other, and you weren't there. So you're picking and saying, "I think this guy's correct, this guy's not," and but you're even going forward further and saying, not just, "I think Matt's story is more accurate." You're saying Rob is a fucking liar and a piece of shit, and he makes everything about him, and he's doing this for publicity. Like you are going further.
Everyone up on the problem, and I see it in the comment section all the time. People don't know what the different story is.
Okay, well, just show the differences in the stories and say, "Look, these are the differences in the stories."
The stories are just this. Let's talk about Matt Bissonnette first and exactly what he said on the Sean Ryan show. It's exactly
Okay, I'm gonna remove that. Um, I do have another video. I don't know if I'm gonna go through the whole thing. Um,
man, Matt Bissonette first, and exactly what he said on the Sean Ryan show. It's exactly what we said on our podcast, exposing Rob.
Okay, but you weren't there. Okay, you weren't there. You can say this is how an operation runs. It doesn't match up with Rob's story. You could say that and be completely fine because there you haven't actually made a claim about Rob's story. But you go further.
Which is the point man read and a whole slew of SEALs moved up to the third floor. The point man read, shot UBL in the doorway, and they followed their shots, and they went in, and 4 of them, Rob being the last man in the room, goes in, and the other 3 put security shots into a dead man. And that's exactly what Matt Bissonette said, which is what everyone else I've ever talked to.
Okay, and then just say, here's what Matt says, here's what Rob says, but you're not doing that.
Have said about that.
You can't just let it be that.
Rob tells a wildly different story. It's not Rob just said, "Hey, I shot bin Laden," which is true. I'm certain Rob shot bin Laden.
Yep, me too.
But Rob's version of the story is this: I and I alone put the first shot, the second shot, the third shot, every shot, the last shot, me and me alone. None of my
I've heard Rob's story. I don't exactly agree with your assessment of it. I'll say that.
teammates, me and me alone took care of UBL. And that is
No,
one of the most selfish things you can do. And it
can-
really goes against all military values.
Dude, I'll tell you right now, when it comes to war stories, I have seen military members lie through their fucking teeth. Okay. It's like fishing stories, right?
It goes against integrity. It goes against teamwork. And for you to go do that was insanely selfish. And you did it for selfish
If we were going to start going after veterans for telling embellished or completely bullshit stories, uh, yeah, our we'd have to line everybody up at the fucking VFW hall and arrest them all. Like, I have heard like some crazy bullshit out of veterans. Um, at the end of the day, it's a story. Um, maybe you make money off it, maybe you don't, but yeah. Um, and here's the thing: like, I've had people come after me of stories I've told that are 100% true. Like, people come after me for being a logistics officer. Like, who? And people first said I lied about my service. Like, and then I was like, no, here's pictures of me. Oh, well, you weren't, you said you were this. No, I was a logistics officer. I was a logistics officer. Oh, well, and then it comes to they start putting down what I did. And none of that bothers me, you know, because I'm very proud of what I did do. Um, hey, I'm the first to say what I did was not incredibly sexy. You know, I'm not one of the I'm not saying I'm tier 1, I'm not out there saying you know, I was special ops. No, I wasn't any of that. But I did serve. I did serve in combat areas. There were times I took fire. So, you know, I'm not saying I'm special. Um, everything about your podcast here, everything about it says you're special.
reasons. You did it for yourself. You did it for fame. You did it for money. And did
More
you
malicious.
think you would get away with it forever? I mean, it's amazing to me that you got away with it for this long.
More maliciousness, and your lawyer's not going to be happy with this transcript.
But did you really think you were going to get away with it forever? And when getting called out, instead of doing the right thing and going, all right, I messed up. It got away from me. I should have never done this. I should have never done this for this long. You double down on it. And
Here's the thing. Why do you care so much, dude? Why do you care so much? Like, you are now involved in a lawsuit over this. Is it really that big of a deal? He was there. He shot bin Laden. Okay. That is really all I need for both of those guys. Like, I really don't care about the details.
And you act like there's no way for us to find out or prove this. So
Oh, we're gonna get into that.
Matt going public right off the bat will tell you his story. There's something else that
Okay.
Matt Bissonette tells in the Sean Ryan story that that I never really caught wind of and talked about in the first episode.
Okay.
He talks about the way they were clearing. The way they were clearing was really slow and
Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Okay. Pretty much I'm gonna end this here because really I don't want to get into all these stupid details because honestly, at the end of the day, they really don't mean anything at all. Like if people lied or if people even misconstrued details, that make doesn't make what is being said defamation, and it doesn't make it not defamation. You know, uh, like at the end of the day, they're just they're just telling a story. You know, and people can lie legally, and but the thing is, if you start going like even if I lied about a detail about a story, right? The whole story is true. That one detail is a lie. But if you're going to start like going around and saying Skipper's a liar, now you're hurting my brand and things I'm trying to do. Uh, and that's where it becomes defamation. And again, you need maliciousness and damages. And you talked about the 25 million. I would bet Rob O'Neill's probably trying to sell his story to Hollywood for a TV show or a movie. So the $25 million, oh, I don't think that's a stretch because he's looking at current damages and future damages. So, yeah, like you making a big deal about that, that was a mistake. I'm going to switch this up right here and I'm going to read this. And this is what's important. This is very technical. Okay. But this is what everybody signs when you get access to classified information. These restrictions are consistent and do not supersede, conflict, or otherwise alter the employee obligations, rights, or liabilities created by Executive Order 13526, or to any successor thereof, 77211 of Title 5, Section 103 or 1034 of Title 10 U.S. Code as amended by the Military Whistleblower Protection Act. I'm just going to skim through a little bit. Section 2302B of Title 5 United States Code as amended by the Whistleblower Protection Act governing disclosures of fraud, waste, and abuse, public health or safety threats, Intelligence Identities Protection Act of 1982, 50 U.S. Code 4221, um, Sections 7C and 8H of the Inspector General Act of 1978, 5 U.S. Code, um, Section 103G of the National Security Act of 1947, which is 50 U.S. Code 3033, relating to disclosures of the Inspector General of the Intelligence Community, Section 17D, 17E of the CIA Act of 1949, which is 50 U.S. Code 3517 relating to disclosures of the Inspector General of the Central Intelligence Agency and the statutes which protect against disclosure that may compromise the national security, including sections 641, 793, 794, 798, 952, 1924 of Title 18 U.S. Code, Section 783 of Title 50 U.S. Code, the definitions, requirements, obligations, rights, sanctions, and liabilities created by said executive order. So the executive order, the big document you need to know about. As you get into more specific things, these other things apply. And I know you're like, Skipper, that was crazy. Why are you showing me this? Because you have to sign uh, for that. You have to sign uh, when you get access to classified information, you have to sign for exactly that, that you are familiar with all of those documents. Okay. And that you've been trained on all of those laws. Now, some of those laws are very nuanced, but the big thing that you need to know is that that's what if you're getting access to classified information, you got to sign all this paperwork. That will always be included, as well as this next one, which is the kicker. Unless and until I am released in writing by an authorized representative of the United States government, I understand that all conditions and obligations imposed upon me by this agreement apply during the same time I am granted access to classified information and at all times thereafter. This is so we had the one that said these are the laws. This is the the real meat and potatoes. You are saying, no, I understand this. And again, you're it applies to you now and forever until released in writing. Now, why is that important? Well, because Matt Bissonette, he, I'm sorry, I'm looking for my mouse here. He signed he wrote a book called No Easy Day. He wrote it under the pen name of Mark Owen, made money off it. Okay, royalties of 6.1 million. And he was ordered to return that money to the U.S. government. Why? Because he did not. When you read a book, okay, and you're in the Navy, as these guys were, you have to submit that book to the United States Navy and to the Department of War, and then they have to read through and say, yes, there's no classified information in this book, and um, you can then um, publish this book, make money off it. Matt Bissonette did not do that. He did not do that step. And again, he signed this paragraph right here stating that he wouldn't talk about classified information. So he is in violation of the law. The Department of War has stated that he actually had to pay the government money from his royalties because of that. Uh, Now, I don't know of Robert O'Neill having had to pay the government. I don't know of the government having said that Robert O'Neill has ever disclosed classified information. And guess what? There are times where Robert probably was not 100% truthful because it involved classified information. Maybe he omitted things. Maybe he changed some details. Now, Brent, your whole legal case relies on the truth. Okay? A lot of these guys, I would suspect, have signed and not been released in writing to be able to talk about classified information. But they're all going to come testify for you. Okay, that's what you said. And okay, but what happens if they do give a deposition and the U.S. government comes in, looks over it, and says, "We're going to red pen this, and there's classified information, and it can't be used in a court of law. It cannot be publicly disclosed." The judge then, like, the judge is bound by United States law. It does not get used in the case. So I know you're saying, "Well, I've got the truth, and he's lied." Um, what if the truth cannot come out in court? You have put yourself in, I think, a very disadvantageous position. And I think, your reliance on, well, I'm first off, I don't think the things that you're making a big deal about, I don't think they really matter, to be honest. I don't think they matter. I think you're dragging a veteran through the mud, which for that I have a problem with. I don't see where really any of these guys are helping any other veterans, which is another problem for me. Like, you just want to tear each other down. Why don't we help other veterans? I don't see either of you doing that. Maybe you are. I could be wrong. I don't see that here, and I think I think going forward with this, with what you're saying of what you're going to do about this lawsuit, I think is incredibly stupid. There are too many just too many things that could go wrong for you. And I think Robert has a case against you. I don't think you have any case against Robert. Your best case scenario is that you win and you've just paid your lawyer thousands of dollars. That's the best. So you're out thousands of dollars. that is your best case scenario. And from a strategic aspect, I think that's incredibly, incredibly stupid. So this is why I didn't want to do that type of podcast. To me, um, it leads to some bad stuff. Uh, I'm not doing my show to bring down other veterans. If a veteran attacks me, oh, game on, game on. But I'm not gonna be out there calling out and telling another veteran they need to take it like a man. Like I, you did that to me, I'd tell you go fuck yourself. Um, Robert's telling you go fuck yourself and pay me $25 million. I'm not saying he's going to get $25 million. Even if he wins, you tend to ask for quite a bit. But if he were to show that, hey, look, I was in talks to sell a script for TV or movies. Um, yeah, that 25 million, like if they stop talking because you decided to be the loudest guy in the room and the arbiter of what truth is, I think that's a huge mistake. So there you go. Now you guys, hopefully you guys have better understanding of why Skipper doesn't do as many things as what people really want me to do. Um, I've always said I'm going to find my own voice, and yeah, like I'll any veteran comes after me, yeah, they're going to attack, but I'm not going to be out there calling people out. Um, it's frankly just a waste of time. But I wanted you guys all to be able to see that because it's out there, it's happening. Robert Oneill and Brent Tucker, and I don't think Brett has put himself in a legally advantageous position. And that's my 2 cents. Again, my opinion. I'm not calling any of these guys liars. I'm not saying any of them are full of shit. I'm just giving you my opinion of the legal standing of both of them on this. So there you go. Take it for what it's worth. Skipper can always be wrong, and I actually, in some ways, I hope I am. I hope I am. But yeah, good luck, guys. And everyone else, thank you for watching, and as always, thank you for being worth serving.